This meeting is being recorded.
I love that I had that little backdrop. Anyway, hi y'all. Welcome. As you can see, that is not Tanya. Tanya is out obviously campaigning for office and running the world, and Britt has stepped in to record with me today. Hi, Britt.
Hi guys.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We love your comments, particularly on YouTube, on Instagram. It's been so fun to interact with y'all. So please make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend about Sunday Shift. Britt, how was your week?
My week has been very good, very relaxed. I've been working at home. I had minor surgery a couple of months ago. Yeah, almost a couple of months ago. And I just worked at home. So when it was raining, I didn't have to be in the house. I mean, I didn't have to be outside and all that. So that was great. I get to watch General Hospital on my lunch break. That's always great. And then this week has actually been very entertaining for the show. So it's been pretty good.
Yeah.
I will say that I will say this. My only thing, Tracy, is I've decided to cut back on bread, and I didn't realize how much I eat bread. So I'm just letting you all know that when you decide to cut back on bread, tough out there.
Yep. I decided to cut back on sugar, and it's like done very well for my skin, but not for my
Mhm.
mood. Like, I really wanted a
Exactly.
donut yesterday. I was like, and the cutting back, I don't know about for you, but it's like it's I mean, really it was for my skin, to be honest. But it's not like I don't have it at all. So like the other day I had like a cupcake, but it just like was a reminder of how often you can just mindlessly grab something um
Mhm.
that you don't even think about. You're like, oh no, I can't have that muffin. I'm gonna have some fruit or whatever it is. I was cranky. To be honest with you.
I miss
Um,
biscuits so much.
talk about it. Yeah, I had a pretty good week too. I was like telling you a little bit offline about pulling something in my neck and my back, like a true old person, because I don't even know. Like so this week I had done my laundry and it's right in the basement, but I had to go up and down a bunch of stairs and carry it. And so at first I was like, okay, you
Mhm.
just carry it on one side. And I was like really feeling myself that last load. And I was like, I'm gonna put it on my back and I'm gonna carry it. That was a mistake. So I'm just getting it even today and I'm good.
Well, I hope you feel better. I understand. Uh, I was going to say biting off more than you can chew, which is kind of the same thing, but like carrying more than you should. That's
Mhm.
happened to me many of a time.
Mhm. I am trying, it's like I'm popping out of that like fall funk or that winter funk. So trying to do like a
Mhm.
little bit more yoga and stretching and being more intentional. Which is good. It's like it has not become routine yet. I know that you be
Yeah.
getting it in. Like I'll be feeling inspired by you. Because I'll be like, bro, what you
Thank
doing?
you.
He's like, I'm on the elliptical. I'm like, well, guess I can stretch today then.
I'm glad to be an inspiration.
Well, let's actually just hop into it. We have so much to cover. I'm actually so glad you're here because I know that you are our resident Chalynn fan. And so like hearing your perspective on the week is going to be really exciting. Um
Mhm.
this week like my performers of the week. I mean, the thing about GH I've always felt is the problem that I have with the show is never in the performances. Never. It's never in the performances. It's always in how other things show up. So, um, I loved Maurice Bernard this week when he was talking to when Sonny was talking to Carly. He was like, "Thanks, Jason." I cackled. He has been playing this breakdown so well. and I talked about this with Tanya a little bit last week, that it's been nuanced. It's not just over the top anger, it is like some vulnerability and some frustration. It also is like everybody who was in his corner at one point is like turning against him. So it's like, yeah, this is like hard, and like, yeah, people should have felt a way about Sonny for all of this time, but like that it's happening overnight, it like makes it easy to blend and forget he's having a breakdown. And so I felt like that's been really good. Um, but Maura and Cynthia, that scene was delicious.
Mhm.
I thought that the two of them played off of each other so well. I think Maura is such a generous scene partner because what you see from her is that she will let her scene partner shine. And Cynthia did, like, Cynthia was getting it. I was like, dang, is Nina gonna best Ava? And then Ava came back and clapped back, and I was like, oh no, that's Maura West, like doing what more Westing. So I just
Mhm.
felt like they were great. And then also Eden, I think that she was great this week, when it came to the scenes with both Christina and with Jason, which we'll get into. But like seeing her play, I've just been really proud of her growth. So those are like some of the highlight performances for me. What about for you?
I have to mention, I know last time I mentioned Jane Elliott,
Mm,
and again, I'm going to mention Jane Elliott because
yes.
who wouldn't mention Jane Elliott? Just because this week she kind of went from like she was drunk and she was dancing, throwing it back, and, and being very funny and very cute. And then also like her eyes when like Brooklyn was doing her speech at the bachelorette slash bridal shower, and she looked so warm and happy for her granddaughter. And then her defiance when she was like, "We're not canceling the wedding," to being like a good friend of Gregory. It showed like, and her getting on Olivia about the cook stuff. Like she was just like all around like so well rounded as a
Hmm.
character, and I think it showed like it highlighted all of her strengths, which she has many.
Yeah. Queen of range for Jane Elliott. Like she's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when she was backing it up and Trina, I feel like what I really appreciated, and I think that this is what they're allowing to do for Tabiana as Trina, is like bringing some of her own personality into her character. Because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was Trina, but that was also Tabiana. Like, okay, is Tracy Quarterbabe backing that ass up? Like, it was a really fun time. Um,
Yeah.
let's hop into, because I know that you're a Ava fan, a Maura West fan. Let's hop into Ava versus Nina plus that Sona breakup. So obviously we know last week we saw Nina like realize that she wasn't going to get Sonny back from selling the Metro Court, and that Ava kind of set her up. We had them have kind of a showdown. Let's talk about it. How did you feel? I'm gonna be quiet. How did you feel about it?
How did I feel about it? Well, I'm not a fan of they're called Niva. I think that's what Nina and
I've never
Ava
called
are
them that.
called. I just saw it when they like stopped being friends. That's the first time I've ever seen that mashup of that name. But okay, we'll go with it. Niva. Break. I wasn't into them. So because okay, for background, everybody, I there was a period where I stopped watching the show. So the last time I watched the show, Ava and Nina were not friends at
Right.
all. So when I came back and they're like best friends, I was very jarred. I was like, why are you talking to the woman who induced your labor and snatched your baby? Like, what's going on? And then I got background and I was like, okay, but I'm still not feeling this friendship, but okay, sure. But I think they do have like a nice like chemistry. You can tell Maura and Cynthia like each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, sure, we'll go with this. But I wasn't really feeling it. I'm not a big Nina fan, as some people know. But I love the scenes between them on Monday. It was great. You had Nina throwing like the pass in,
Mm-hmm.
and like how, okay, I'm with Ava, I'm team Ava. So she was right that Ava did like go like, maybe you should turn them into the SEC. Now Nina did that all on her own. She made the decision. But Ava did drop that like, wouldn't that be interesting if you did that? So her pointing that out, her pointing out that she wants Sonny, that whole thing was just like, it was delicious. Also delicious, Ava being like, your relationship was fake. It wasn't real.
Yes.
You love somebody that didn't exist or doesn't exist. He played into that, but now that's over. And I know him better than you could ever know him because he can be his true self with me that he can't be with you. And I said, oh, hmm, hmm. I
Yeah.
got my life. So it was just very delicious. Nina signing the divorce papers and Ava snatching it like it's the ring from Lord of the Rings and, and leaving. Um, the whole thing was hilarious, that part. But the whole scene was just fantastic. Like they could put that on a reel for next year, in my opinion.
100%.
They did
100%.
they did really well. And I'm happy about it. Now I feel some way. I feel some way if we want to talk about it, like the turning of Ava into the villain again subject, uh, which I find I have the same issue with it that I have with Sonny is the villain edit too, which
Mm-hmm.
is interesting because I hate Sonny. So I don't know if we want to get into it after we talk about it, but the scenes were very good, and I'm glad Nina signed the divorce papers because I was very much on my Maxie, like, you're doing a lot for a guy that does not want you
Mm-hmm.
anymore. You need to let go. It's looking bad. And Ava was correct that she was looking, desperate and pathetic. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have a very different perspective on the like Nina trying to be like, you told me to do that. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
no, girl, she definitely did not tell you that. Like, she certainly did not tell you to do that. And it's also like you're a grown woman. So even if she did plant that in your head, or you thought she planted that in your head, that does not mean that you don't stop and like consider everything. Because the problem with somebody like Nina, to be honest, is that she's so delusional that you don't
Mm-hmm.
know if like the things that she says is delusional or if it's like an actual rewrite. Because like we know these writers are trying to like move into like whatever story they want to tell, like other story be
Mm-hmm.
damned. Something I was really thinking about is you talked about taking a break. I took a break a while ago, but I've been back basically since the first time Steve Burton came back. That's around the time I came back because I had left for a little bit
Mm-hmm.
too. So I've been watching straight through. And so I think that if I had taken like a break during Chris and Dan, which I probably would have been done if we weren't podcasting, to be honest, um, and then
Mm-hmm.
I came back to this, I would be entertained, and I wouldn't like be second guessing or side eyeing some things. But because I sat through all of Chris and Dan and some of these changes are so jarring, it makes it hard
Mm-hmm.
to like get into it. So
Yeah.
including the Ava stuff, the Sunny stuff, like all of that like feels really jarring. And with Nina as a character, she's always been delusional. She's always lived in her own world. She's always rewritten like things around what she wanted it to be. So it's hard to
Mm-hmm.
tell if something with her is like these new writers are like, no, this is the story that we're telling now. This is the story you should go with, versus this is the story that Nina's telling. And I think that keeps happening in other scenes too, where you're like, no, I literally just watched a different thing happen. And
Mm-hmm.
this character is like telling someone else something. And then that is like the story that's moved with. So that has been, I think, a little bit frustrating for me. I don't know. Do you pick up on any of that?
Yes. Well, yes, Nina's delusional. And I just want to be clear, I think Nina made the decision to do what she did. She is a grown woman, and she always has this tendency to blame other people for her decisions, like every time. Just like
Mm-hmm.
whenever her and Drew slept together, and she was like, "You took advantage of me," and it's like, no, you got mad at him for like asking your consent. What are we talking about? So yeah. So I want to say Nina's delusional, but I don't know because they are just uh, weird about what they're trying to tell as far as the
Mm-hmm.
story goes. Um,
Yeah.
it's like with my Ava is a villain again edit is really weird to me because they're saying stuff like Ava is isolating him. Ava's pulling him in this direction, which until like how many weeks ago it was she did that weird thing where she took his medicine, his bipolar meds, and then tested them. Uh, Before that, she and like the Jason thing, like telling that to Nina or whatever. But before that, she wasn't doing anything. She was just noticing like he's being nicer to her, him being like, I trust you, him listening to her. This is like a new thing for her, and she just seemed like she was like into it, but she wasn't. But she was like, oh, this is a nice surprise. Like my baby daddy likes me now. Like she didn't ask to. This meeting is being recorded. This meeting is being recorded.
If you're like watching us, you probably saw that there was like a little issue in the audio, but you know, we're rocking with it. And again, y'all know I do this for free, so we don't know how to edit it. We gonna keep rolling. I'm not an editor, you know, so we just gonna keep going. So anyway, we were talking about
It's
Ava.
okay. Yeah, they're making it like they have Carly, Christina, Nina. Is there anybody else? Sam to a very lesser extent. They have everybody being like, Ava's a bad influence. Ava's doing this. Ava's doing that. She hasn't really, until like the last 2 weeks, she hasn't really done anything. In my opinion, she was being blackmailed, and then Sonny was like, "You and Avery need to live with me. I have a threat, and you're being threatened." And it's been like that for a while. Like,
Right.
I feel like if you're gonna make Ava the villain, you need to do. Now she's doing kind of what Nina was doing with Nits and Falls, which is that like she finds out this information and she's not telling anybody. Like she's not saying like his meds have been messed with.
Mm-hmm.
So now she is doing stuff. But they're making it seem like she's been doing stuff for months and she
Right.
planned this like extensively. And we've gotten nothing to say that she has. So I feel like if she has been planning this quote unquote, then they need to show that quick because it looks like they're like overdoing it and it's annoying the shit the crap out of me. I feel like they need to like hurry up and like get the show on the road as far as like
Mm-hmm.
showing Ava is now the villain. It's the same thing with Sonny as the villain also. Just to add to that, like there have been times Laura has turned. I know we're gonna get in. Like Laura has turned on him. TJ's turned on him. Everybody's turned on him, but it's just coming out of nowhere. Like none of this is organic. Like it wasn't 2 seconds ago that didn't Ava spend Christmas or Thanksgiving with Carly, like
Yep.
in our home, and they were like getting along.
Yep.
So it's just like let's turn it on a switch. It looks crazy. Like I know Carly has said to her before, like I won't forget what you did with Morgan, but they had her like all of last year get along with Ava and them talking about Avery and planning like sleepovers with Donna and Avery. You had Josh being nice to her and them talking about Trina and Avery and her being like, you're a part of the family because Avery and yada, yada, yada. So it's like this turn is just very out of field for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, I mean, I want to go back to something you said about the Nixon Falls thing because the reality for me, I've never liked Nina as a character. I didn't like her when Michelle Stafford played her. I don't like her now that Cynthia's playing her. But there was a sliver of time where she wasn't insufferable, and that was the time that she was with Jax. And it really felt like they were turning that character around. So I would imagine, like there's sometimes this assumption that people who have been watching the show have been watching for years and years and years. And then there are times where people
Hmm.
like come to a soap because a person that they like has come to the soap. So like if I'm a person who would have followed Cynthia to this soap, I would be like really jarred by the way like if I came in, she really was on this, I've talked about this a bunch, but like she was on this like high. Like she dunked on Valentine, she was with Jax. She was like literally spending like she like sent the kids like Joss, Trina and Cameron off to like homecoming or something. Like she has actually been around for really important things for this family, and then all of a sudden it flipped. And to your point about organic, they didn't tell a very organic story through Nixon Falls. And the aftermath, particularly, they told it as this love story, and it was all like I saw it and I was like, this is horrible. Like this woman kept this man from his family, and was lying in everything that she said to him, and she was like creating this very delusional world to keep him in. And I'm not saying that Sona shouldn't have been together after that if that was the story they wanted to tell. I'm saying that it shouldn't have then been told as this love story of like, oh, he just could like it should have been told as a story of passion of him not being able to like stay away from her, of like regardless to him knowing it was wrong, he wanted to be with her. But instead it was told very, very differently. And for me as an audience member, I got turned off completely. And so I think that Nina is a better character when she is not with Sonny. She is better in scenes with Ava. She's better in scenes with Maxie. She's better in scenes, even with Carly. She got her that little dig in at her on how she didn't buy the hotel back for herself. All of that. She is a better character when she is not with Sonny because it makes her look like a child. And so I think that the Sona divorce is probably good for Nina as an individual character because it like for me personally. Um, And you brought this up, so
Yeah.
let's get into Sunny versus Port Charles. So we do have Carly, Jason, TJ, Laura, Jocelyn, like like people who have been Anna, Dex, like people who have been kind of in his orbit who are now against him. So let's talk about some of the big ones. We got Sunny versus Carly. Oh, oh, Sunny. I'm not a Carson fan of them as a couple. I do like the way they interact. I'm a fan of like the big three, to be honest, like the Jason, Carly, Sunny, weird triangle. I know a lot of people aren't, but I'm a fan of it. So it was interesting to see like essentially a breakup after they've been divorced for years. They've both been in major relationships. Sunny has been married, and we still got this Carson kind of breakup. How did you feel about it? I know that
Hmm.
you're not a fan of them.
Yes, I'm the opposite of you.
Mm,
I'm not a fan of the unholy trio, but it was, first of all, it was crazy. Well, it's not crazy. Sonny has done that plenty of times where he changes the story. He's been doing that for a few months now when anybody mentions anything. But him being like the divorce was because you wanted it. You wanted to be divorced, as we joke about in spaces. And I was just like, yeah, but I was there. You slept with Nina. And Carly said that. She was like, no, you slept with Nina like 5 minutes when I said I needed some space. And then him, like, you're rewriting history. And she's like, what? And then him being so obsessed with, like, Jason. Now, I know, Sasson, so always has love for Jason, but I mean, it was a lot. He was he was just like mocking her for taking Jason's money, mocking Jason for not calling and saying for 2 years and saying that like he can't tell him why, he can't tell him what's going on, about him being a snitch, essentially being an FBI informant,
A deadbeat dad.
um, a deadbeat dad. Yeah, later when he talks to Jason, yes, that was funny also. But like just so much animosity and just coldness towards Carly, I thought was very interesting. Usually when they have like their fights and stuff, it's usually there's like passion there, and there's still like him wanting to be with her or wanting to still stay friends, but being frustrated with her. Whereas now it's just very cold, like cut off, like he did with Nina. Just like you betrayed me, you're done. And that I think that's a very interesting dynamic that Mo and Laura played. Especially Laura sounding like she couldn't believe that like they had this. We have to sore eyes because like Michael's like my age now. I don't know, but like as we know, it's 25 years of like history with Carson. Like all of these years, or I mean, you could use, yeah, 25 years. I was going to say maybe 98, but I would say more like 99 as a whole. But like this history that they have, and for it to disintegrate like this, you see the look on Laura Wright's face as Carly as like, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe this is the way it's ending in the hallway of the Metro Court or whatever, or the lobby. And it's just like, it's like ridiculous. And like anytime she tries to like reason with him, like, why would Jason hurt you? If Jason wanted to hurt you, he would have hurt you. If he was informing on you, you would have been arrested by now. And he's just not listening. It's just like going right through him. He's just like, no, he's a traitor. And I think it's just interesting how Valentine, just the messing up his meds, and just like certain things that are happening, like the thing with Dex and the Cyrus, him beating the crap out of Cyrus, and Jason coming back that he's an FBI informant. All of these things have isolated Sonny, where like in some ways he does make sense, like to feel some sort of betrayal or what have you, or to be incredulous about people just turning on him, but he also still sounds paranoid and out of it. It's a very interesting thing to watch.
Yeah, I know I saw a little bit. I can't, even though I try not to look on social media, but I saw a little bit of conversation about like Carly not noticing, and like how could she not notice? And I'm like, but the thing about it is, I happened to go back on YouTube and watch the breakup, on the Haunted Star, after she found
Mm-hmm.
him with Nina. I also like, it took me on like a rabbit hole because I also like saw the video of what Sonny was saying to her kind of after the court hearing. I don't know if you were watching at this part yet, Britt, but basically Michael got mad at Nina, and like when he found out everything that happened, so he took her to Landview, Pennsylvania, to get like to charge her with some kind of fraud or something around Sonny. And so
Yes, I
then,
remember.
yeah, and then like obviously it comes out on the stand because nobody knows at this point. It comes out on the stand that, oh, he was in love with her. And so
Mm-hmm.
afterwards, Sonny and Carly have this big blow up scene. And so what I'm saying is like, he sounds just as ridiculous in those scenes as he did in this scene. So it
Mm-hmm.
makes sense to me that like even the idea that you would marry Nina feels like something that's ridiculous. So it makes sense to me that Carly would not see his behavior being different now than what it's been essentially since he's been back from Nixon Falls. So I can understand why she does not notice the breakdown in the same way somebody
Mm-hmm.
like Jason does, because Jason is noticing it's not just like betrayal, it's being really unbalanced in your decision making around your business, that you're not like
Mm-hmm.
even thinking about how to keep yourself safe, how to do whatever. You're actually just like, I'm mad, now I'm about to take this person out, and you're not being strategic. You
Yes.
don't have people around you who are helping you be strategic. So that is like the difference for me between the way Carly is seeing him in this very interpersonal personal way that includes business a little bit, but isn't that far on the inside as what Jason is. So I do think it, like I said, it's really fascinating the way Mo is playing this and like the intricacies of how he's playing it. Um, I am interested to see what happens. Um, him and Laura was an interesting breakdown. Laura was like, I do not care. I do not want your art because you beat up my brother. Now,
Mm-hmm.
having so much of this hinge on Cyrus, wild to me. Cyrus, who like was selling the drugs that made Sasha have a heart attack. Cyrus, who held Trina and Portia at gunpoint. That Cyrus? Like it's madness to me. It's madness to me that Anna is now turned on him because of Cyrus, because the reality is what you know is that he stopped Dex from killing Cyrus. So
Mm-hmm.
what are we even talking about? Yeah, he sent him to do it, and that was a problem. But Dex, it did not happen because Dex had some change in attitude. It didn't happen because Sonny was like, "Ooh, maybe I shouldn't do that," and came and stopped it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
no
Yeah.
defense of Sonny. It just like all the things that they're saying make no sense to me.
I agree. Um, Also, then Cyrus set up Julian to do the bomb
He did.
and put Lulu in a coma.
He sure did.
It's so I'm confused about Laura. Now I know she's like two wrongs don't make a right, or he's a bad guy, but that doesn't justify you beating him almost to death. And I'm like, sure, but this is what's going to turn her on Sonny. Like, she's turned on Sonny before, because I've seen people on the timeline, some people being like, Laura and him have been friends for like 30 years. How can she turn on him like this? And I'm like, she literally did when she thought Lucky was killed
Right.
and above Jason's motorcycle shop or whatever.
Hmm.
She's done it before. She separated from Luke when there was like some mob stuff going on, and because Sonny and Luke were in cahoots and had the club and everything. So she's turned on him before. But those were like good reasons. Like, her family was in danger. She thought her son was killed. Stuff that makes sense. And yes, technically her brother was put in danger, but they haven't established them as a close family unit yet. They had like one scene or a few scenes that one day where she saved them from Heather. That's about like it. The rest of the time she's been like, get out my house. I don't believe you. You're a charlatan. Like, or don't come to my office. She's constantly kicking him out. So it went from that to like, Sonny's gone too far. It's very weird. Same thing with Anna. It's just like such a flip over Cyrus is also weird. Like, it's just like, I feel like they should have made it like him going too far with somebody that they would actually like care about sincerely. But I think they didn't want Sonny to beat on somebody that would make the audience turn on him, I guess, before the revelation that the pills were making him do it, or the lack of pills. So like him beating up Dex or something like that. So first of all, I wouldn't believe that would happen. But let's say he hung him on the meat hook again or something like that, and didn't think he was a serial killer, which saved him from the last time. And he was just beating him up because he was upset about Nina and whatever reason. Like, again, I think that would be a better motivator for them, but I think it would go too far for Sonny character, so they didn't do that. But yes, the Cyrus thing is weird. The TJ thing is weird. We haven't talked about that. But that's the worst one to me, actually, the TJ one, because where is it coming from? He doesn't know about the Cyrus thing.
Yeah, it's really, really heavy-handed. Um, and yeah, it's really heavy-handed. It doesn't feel believable. And I agree, like I wish that there would have been something. They spent so much time with like Curtis being shot where we didn't know if it was aimed at Sonny or aimed at Anna, that like that should have been a breaking point. That should have been a breaking point between maybe Joss and Trina. That should have been a breaking point between like I mean like there's just like natural things that could have happened that were already story that should have been this breaking point, not this thing that he didn't actually do, this thing he thought about doing
Mm-hmm.
and then didn't go through with. Like that, how is that the breaking point for people? Um, because it's also like not him beating up Cyrus. That's the breaking. Well, for Laura, I guess it is, but like for Anna, like the
Mm-hmm.
breaking point was not him beating up Cyrus. It was him stopping Dex from doing something. You know, like it just for me doesn't ring true. And also, I think as like longtime viewers, we know that eventually people are going to swing around to liking Sunny again. So now it just feels like
Mm-hmm.
spinning our wheels to get back to something that's inevitable. Um, and it's not even entertaining to watch because it doesn't make sense in the moment. Um, and that, yeah, so that's been a little frustrating for me.
Word. I agree with you. It's very frustrating.
Well, let's talk about the Chalynn wedding. So we got a bachelor party and a bachelorette party as well as bridal shower, I think. And then
Mm-hmm.
we also find out that Gregory is sick again or getting sicker. But let's stay with the fun part first. Let me say my highlights. I got Spixie. I got
Mm-hmm.
Trina dancing and looking beautiful in that pink dress she had on. I got Drunk Joss, and I got Tracy Quartermain backing it up. Tell me, as like a Chalynn fan, like did this feel like satisfying? Like, did you want more? What were you thinking about it?
I thought, okay, so I rewatched the episodes for the podcast, and I think it was cute. At first, I was like, they could have done more. This is very hallmarky. Where's a stripper? But then I was just like, I'm digging it. It's very cute.
That same thing
It was
happened to me the
cute.
second time I watched it too.
Yes. I was like, this is very cute. I would add in the stuff that you said. Brooklyn and Trina having a theme for the first time
Yeah.
I've seen. I thought that was great, and they were dancing together, and it was very cute. Willow and Trina taking a selfie was cute. The picture thing they took at the bachelorette party, and you had like Olivia smiling and Tracy wearing that pink wig and looking mean. um, you had Lois and Olivia being like, Vincent Hurst in the house, and then they started dancing. It was just like
Poorly.
sweet. Nelly being threatened by Tracy because she won, and she was like, I better not win ever again with you. And he said, understood. Um, just it was just so cute. It was just like
Hmm.
the cutest party that I've seen, and I got little glimpses when Brooklyn was saying her speech, and when Lois gave her like I guess something old,
Hmm.
the earrings and everything, and it was very sweet. I actually liked it.
Hmm.
It touched me, and I thought it was a good use of using what they have because Frank in the budget, using what they have to make what they could with the bachelorette party and with the bachelor party. I like that one too.
Hmm.
I like the theme was Chase is not good enough for Brooklyn. That's the kind of thing I want to
Period.
hear. And him acknowledging that, him being like, "You're correct," and I was like, "Yes, that's the attitude I need from you, sir."
Mm-hmm.
Everybody mixing it up. I like Anna and Jordan being in the bachelor party.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was cool.
I thought Blaze coming was a little weird though. I was like, why are they acting like this is a big deal? I was like, okay. And I like Blaze, but I
Yeah,
was like, what's happening?
I like Blaze too, but I was also like, y'all worked together for I think like 4 months. What is this? They said that like he's her best friend, like they're best friends or something. It was very weird. And then I thought, which was weird, they haven't mentioned Jackie like ever, but I was like, oh, the other most important woman is like his mom, right? Because he was supposed to be a mama's boy anyway, from what I've read and seen.
Mm-hmm.
And then no, and then I
but
know
his face
one of our
though, with his face though, when they said it, he was like, wait, what's happening? What's happening? Because they were like, the other most important woman in Chase's life. He was like, it was
like
funny.
Violet. Is Violet coming? Yeah. So I was Chase and Chase was me. I was like, oh, okay. Well, all right. But yeah, I like that. I like Ned's toast. I like Drew and Curtis. I like them being like, you know what, Curtis is healed. Story ended. He's already back to throwing a hatchet with accuracy. When before wasn't he in a cane or a walker or something? It's just like I was like, wow, miracle.
Okay, healed.
Cue the Whitney Houston song, but yeah, it was a miracle. I was just like, wow. Drew and Jordan flirting, I like that. I know we're talking about that later, but
no, we can talk about it now because the only thing I had was I liked that there was sparks between them. But Drew, if you're gonna be flirting with Nina, leave my girl alone, okay? You need to be worshiping at her feet like the queen she is, because she's too good for you.
Yes,
but they do have chemistry.
Need a John and yes, I don't need John and Evangeline part 2. One Life to Live. People know what I'm talking about. I don't need him being. Yeah, don't have him be with the black woman and he wants to be with the annoying lady that I don't like. Because that's what happened with me. That's what happened to me in One Life to Live. I hated Natalie. But, yeah. So if you're going to be with Jordan, Drew. But they were sparking pretty hard, and it was very cute. And I was glad he got her away from Curtis because I got sick of him being his little, I'm with my family now. I know what's important. Deal. Shut up.
Do you know who needs to rein in their chemistry? Willow and Drew. Every time they're together, yes. I'm like, what's going on? What's happening here? Rein that back.
He did. I was like, are they gym testing Willow and him? Because why are they randomly talking about Scout and Amelia swimming?
And if they're Kim testing, the test has been passed with flying colors, but it's still gross. Like, let's not do this. Because, like, she lights up with him. I was like, what's happening here? No.
Exactly, yeah. But yes, both parties were very cute. I enjoyed myself as a Chalynn fan, however you want to say it, everybody. It's fantastic.
I trust your pronunciation because you are the fandom. I also say I was a little disappointed that Stella didn't come. I really wanted her to leave the restaurant with the girls and come. And I think to your point, and we'll talk a little bit more about Trina later, but I did like Trina being there and like mixing it up with like new people. It felt like people knew each other. It didn't feel awkward. It wasn't like Jocelyn had to introduce her to people. It was just like, even though now we need to see it on screen, but even though we never seen it on screen, people like know and really like her, you know? And I
Mm,
thought that was really good.
yeah,
So I'm hoping that this is like a springboard for us to see her in more relationships, particularly because they're like evilizing Ava. We need
mhm,
to like see her but we will talk about Trina in depth, but I did like just really enjoy seeing her like smile and have a good time and send the picture to
yeah,
Stella. It's like just a very natural amount of things that you would do. And she just beamed and looked great doing it. So I really liked it.
yeah. And I concur that I think it would have been great if Stella had came, especially because Tracy and Stella have started to be friends. So I
Right.
thought that would be good if they invited her too.
Right. Exactly. Well, also at the party, we got Joss versus Christina. Now, Christina came by Joss kind of accidentally twice, but her version of events is that Joss like ran up on her. I was like, what's
Mhm.
going on? And so they argued obviously about Sonny. Joss is continuing her legacy of her daddy and snitching and told Christina about Dex and like what Sonny ordered him to do. I actually think that it would have been more interesting if, I mean, I get why they did it, but it's like your dad hung Dex on a meat hook actually is more compelling because if you remember back when it was Lexi, when she couldn't find Dex, she went to her dad and was like, "What's going on?" So Christine,
Mhm.
because Dex used to like watch Christina or like, whatever body was like a bodyguard for Christina. So I just didn't feel like that was like a compelling thing, but their argument was very funny when Christina was like, "What? He's tired of you being sanctimonious," or whatever she said to her.
Mhm.
They just like both of them quipping at each other was like kind of funny to me. Um, but again, it all centered Sunny, so
Mhm.
ugh,
When doesn't the show do that? But yeah. Okay, Christina kept annoying me because she lied and kept saying that Joss ran up to her and just told her this. And I'm just like, you went up to her and said, "Are you following me?" And then got in her face when she's like, "Leave me alone." But you
right,
won't leave her alone. So to me, it's like you asked around and found out. Like, I know Jocelyn, because we got into this in the spaces, like Jocelyn should have been running around telling people this situation, especially in public. But like Christina keeps poking and poking and poking and poking. It's kind of similar some to like Nina when she comes up to people and starts poking and poking at them, and then they say something to her, and she's just aghast when they like tell her what needs to be told.
mm-hmm,
So I didn't feel sorry for Christina. You should have mind your business, drank your mocktail, and just danced or something. Like
mm-hmm,
I, TJ has been getting on my nerves with his policing of Christina and her movements and what she should and shouldn't be doing and everything. But I did agree with him that she shouldn't be jumping into like this type of stuff where she's stressing herself out and like hurting herself emotionally by getting into these random arguments with Jocelyn about this situation. Like she doesn't like your dad. Like
right.
deal with it.
Yeah, I feel like Christina. Well, I don't agree with TJ about anything, but I hear you. They have successfully made me very angry every time TJ's on screen. But I do agree about the way they're going about this. Um, who cares what Jocelyn thinks about Christina? Who care? Like, Christina is too grown to be getting into it with Jocelyn over nothing. Now, it would be different if Christina was or Jocelyn was actually running up on her, but that's not what's happening. Leave that girl alone. I really liked the scene with Jason and Jocelyn. I
Mhm.
felt like it gave a lot of perspective. And I will say, like, I know, excuse me, I know that we have joked on Laura Wright a lot in the past when she, like, told people not to fast forward, or was like talking about people fast forwarding. Anytime I do fast forward in my heart, I say sorry to Laura Wright. I mean, I watch everything, so I can talk about it with y'all, but I get it. But I think part of what I find to be real about that sentiment is that if you would have fast forwarded the Jocelyn Jason scenes, you would have actually missed some really important character development from Jocelyn.
Mhm.
And I think that would have been unfortunate. Um, I think that also there's something that happens, and I think this happens across the board. It's not just soap characters, but I do think that soaps have it like more because we have so many characters and so many people and so many storylines for so many years. Is that when a character you like does something, it's the writing. Like you're like, I can't believe they're
Mhm.
writing this person this way. But a character that you
Yeah.
don't like does something and that becomes like who they are. Like it is like in the embedded in their characterization. And so if you're not watching the show to like form opinions based on what is happening, then you're gonna get stuck in a rut of not of like liking or not liking characters no matter what they do. And I think that that's like a tough way to watch a show. And it just like really like stuck out for me around like Jocelyn particularly. Um,
Mhm.
don't cancel me to anyone, but I have a hard time understanding how people who hate Jocelyn like Spencer. Like what
Oh, yeah.
like the spoiledness, the entitlement, all of that stuff. It doesn't make me dislike either of the characters. And if you know me, I've been a fan of Spencer since he was a kid. But I like every critique I see of Jocelyn is like the same critique I could see of Spencer. But when people have decided they don't like someone, or that they do like someone, it is based just on their like it's just based on this perspective of, oh, if you're doing this or you're telling this story, you're trying to force something on me.
Mhm.
Well, the purpose of writing is to like tell, a lot of times it's like to tell stories from the perspective that you're trying to push. Now, I do think that there is something for well-rounded characters and like letting people like come to their own conclusions based on stories. But then there is also the perspective of the writer, because I want you to like the story, the characters I'm putting out. I want you to like the couples. I want you to like the people. So of course I'm going to write them in a way that like manipulates the audience into liking them. The problem is when it becomes like at the expense of other characters. That's when you call it forced. That's when I would call it forced. Or when it comes at the expense of like what actually has been told in the story. Those are like the
Yeah.
problems I face. But like, of course, you're gonna get moments like Jason and Jocelyn to like have you see like this other side of who Jocelyn is. Anyway,
Mhm.
that was a rant. I went too long on that. Sorry, it's
It's
just something that had
okay.
been on. It's just something that had been on my mind a lot about like um not allowing characters who we don't particularly like, and I'm guilty of this too, to like develop
Mhm.
into someone that we might like.
Mhm. Yeah. I agree with you.
Mhm.
I agree with your rant, so I won't cancel you.
um, and I well, also because you brought up the TJ surrogate thing, I think that this is like a thing because I like love TJ. I think Taj is very handsome. I'm sorry, my computer is just like buzzing. I don't know if you can hear that. I'm sorry.
I
But
can't hear it.
you can.
I can't hear it.
Oh,
I
perfect.
can't.
Okay. Because I was like, my computer like continues to ding, and I'm like, if I'm listening to this, I'm gonna be like, what is going on over there? But so yeah, I like TJ. I like Taj as an actor. This stuff that they're doing to TJ makes me not want to see him. please give this man something else to do besides try to police. He was like, I don't want to be the pregnancy police. Well, you are, and it's annoying. And you're a doctor, so you definitely should know better than this.
Yeah,
Not a fan.
agreed. I'm not a fan either, and I'm a fan, and I also left over him. What's up? If he's watching, hi, hi, Tosh. But
I don't think he watches, but that
yeah,
would be nice.
somebody send him this video. No, I'm kidding. But I'm not. But I don't like it either. I don't know why they flipped the switch with him. It's just like how the Sonny thing was very erupt. Like he didn't know that his partner was his niece all of a sudden, and that he wouldn't be in his life. To now, like Christina can do no right. And I'm not the biggest Christina fan, but damn, like, can she live? Like, he was like getting mad that she went to a bachelorette party. And it's
He was
not
like,
like
did she
he was
drink?
like throwing. I was just like, oh my god, like, chill the f out. He just sounds so sexist, and he sounds so ridiculous, and it's coming out of nowhere. It's just really like there's organic ways. Again, I think this is my problem right now with the new regime is that they want to tell a story, and I get what they're trying to do, but they're not doing it in an organic way for me, where I could be like, oh, I see why TJ has issue with Christina. If they show Christina more like obsessed with the baby, or more like going to doctor's visits and not telling them,
Yep.
or doing stuff, or like buying baby clothes for her, but not in like an aunt way, but like in a
Yes.
mom way, or doing like more stuff where it seems like, ooh, we might have a custody case. Then I could see why he was having attitude,
100%.
but it's like Christina breathes, and he has an issue.
And then he
It's the
tells
same.
everybody, he's like, Gregory, I know it's your doctor's appointment, but let me tell you about this bitch, Christina. Like, what are we doing here?
It's ridiculous. He
Ugh.
sounds unhinged. So yeah, it's just like it's just like flips the switch every time, and it's very crazy. I don't like it at all.
Mm-mm. No, it's terrible. Um, Jason, Sam, and Danny. So obviously Danny goes to see Jason. Jason brings him home. Sam goes off. Um, I'm not liking the way people are coming at my Samantha. I don't agree with her, but back up off my
Right.
girl. Okay. First of all, she not wrong about how she feels about Jason. He is dangerous. She actually left him because he was dangerous. She like is right that he is not that he could disappear on her son again. And then what would
Mhm.
happen? Jason is dangerous right now to be around. He is actually bait for
Mhm.
pikemen. And I think people forget that about how scared she was in the aftermath. This is what forced their relationship to end. How scared she was in the aftermath of that bomb from Cyrus, the one that put Lulu in the coma, because she thought that
Mhm.
Danny and Jason were in the bar. And it just so happened, and he was like,
Right.
"Oh no, I had just taken him to Monica's, and he wasn't answering the phone." So yeah, of
Mhm.
course she's gonna be extra careful. Like she's a mom. So of course I don't. I think the way she's handling it is like slappy, but I'm not a mother. I'm an auntie. Um, I don't think that there's anything wrong with her being very cautious. I don't like the way it's being written. I don't like that that's all we see of her, but I'm not here for the dragging of Samantha. And you know who else isn't? Steve Burton. I was
Mhm.
watching his podcast with Bradford. I actually watch it all the time. They have GH guest. I think Bradford's funny, uh, but and I've enjoyed their podcast, Daily Drama. I think. Anyway, um, I like that Steve addressed it and he was like, yeah, he was like, why wouldn't Sam be like cautious? Why wouldn't she be
Mhm.
worried? And I think that's really important that, like, again, you can like Jason without going at my girl. I don't like that. That's it.
Well, I also agree with you. I've loved Sam since 2003. So, and Kelly Monaco before that. So I'm always on Team Sam. Um, Now, I was a little bit like, the only time, like, when Sam was like, how could you, Jason? I
Oh
was
yeah,
like,
that was
wait a minute.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I was like, girl, he brought him back. Like, it's okay that, I mean, I get like, you're like adamant, but it was like 5 minutes they spent together. Hold the phone. He was, and he talked to Danny and was like, you can't keep lying to your mom. It was wrong for what I did. Making you keep this from your mom. You got to go back. So I was like, and also like I was listening to Dante, like Dante and Sam's conversation, I guess like after the bachelor party, and I was on Dante's side in terms of like
Mm-hmm.
him being like, Danny's his own person. He's not a little kid anymore, and he's gonna want to have a relationship with his father. And it's not a good thing to make him feel like it's wrong to have a relationship or try to have a relationship with his father.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Sam is just having tunnel vision about how she feels, and I'm hoping that it gets resolved. But yeah, like leave Sam alone. Uh, Chill. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's also because Sam is not being allowed to be a full character right now. That the only time we see
Mhm.
her is for stuff like this. I like was joking because I like read the spoilers every week, and every spoiler for Sam
Mhm.
is like Sam is concerned, Sam is upset, Sam is this, Sam is it's never
Mhm.
about like anything that's happening with her. She's not able to like be a fully realized character. They're only making her concerned. I would say that they do a little bit of that same stuff with Portia. The difference with Sam is that we've had 20 years to love her character to now being in this space where all they are allowing her to do is like be in this like state of panic about her child. But
Mhm.
there's something that they are doing about writing motherhood that's making worry their only character flaw, or like character flaw. I'm sorry, not a flaw, but their only character like descriptor. Like just
Mhm.
like Sam is worried, Sam is concerned. Okay, can Sam actually have fun? We had a whole like bachelorette slash axe throwing situation. We could have had Sam be there having fun and then leave with Blaze. Like we
Mhm.
didn't even get like that balance for her, and that's part of what I didn't care for. I'll also say I've shipped Samantha in every one of her relationships. I will continue to do that. I really like Sante, and I cannot lie and say my J Sam heart didn't feel a little twinge when she was like he was like, I'm sorry. She's like, I'm sorry for a lot of things. I was like, oh my God, the angst. Um,
Mhm.
so I think that for me, that's just like the power of Kelly Monaco, the power of like the relationship she's able to build with her scene partner. I heard that Greg Vaughn might be leaving Days. I was like, Tony Geary can't hurt you anymore, Greg Vaughn. Come back and be our lucky. We'll take you back. We'll take you. He can't hurt you. Jeannie Francis will protect you.
Ah.
And if he does that and he has a scene with Kelly Monaco, I'm gonna be like, I miss Luciam a little bit because that's my girl and I'm gonna stand beside her.
That would be messy for her to go with Dante's former brother-in-law partner. Ooh.
It's not even
Okay.
that I want any of these folks back together. I'm just saying that no matter who Sam's in a scene with and or whatever with, I'm with it. I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, she in a scene with Carly, Car Sam. She in a scene with Dante. I'm loving Sante and I'm loving the family they're putting together. Um, She's in a scene with Jason. My Jason heart, like that's my girl. Period. I just want it to be known.
Okay.
What I don't like, Sasha
Hmm.
being the quartermain cook.
I almost said maid.
Now, let me say this. There is nothing wrong with the helping profession. There is nothing wrong with service work. There's nothing wrong with any of that. This, however, a mess.
And a half. A mess and a half. Yeah.
She used to live there when she was dating Michael.
She used to have she used to have money and have her own place that was like nice. And now she has to live like, yes, I agree. Just like with the cooking profession, very respected. I have friends that work in kitchens and stuff like that. So,
Shout out to the
and
bear.
my favorite show is The Bear. Yes.
Hashtag say it,
Like,
Carmi forever.
yeah. Tracy knows I'm a big The Bear fan. So yes, but this is weird. She's gonna cook for her ex boyfriend and his wife, whose mother she ran over.
I forgot about
What
that.
is this? I did not. That's why I thought it was even more awkward. Like,
It's just like
this
her and
is
Cody
weird.
for to stay in servants' quarters. Like, what are we doing?
To move in that fourth apartment, in a room with Cody and that, and whatever comment they're picking, the white comment, the black one, the Puerto Rican one, whichever. They're going to have her sleeping in the horse apartment, wearing her Mario overalls and sweeping the horse coop.
And they were like, Olivia was like, "You made a really good shepherd's pie. Do you want to like work in the kitchen?" Okay. This was stupid. I can't even express how stupid it is. I was like looking, that's what I was trying to find. So I sometimes put up polls on the Sunday Shift Instagram account. So I did, how did you feel
Mm-hmm.
about Sasha as the new quartermain chef? First of all, this poll got more votes than most of our other polls because a lot of people will see it and just keep going. 80% said it doesn't make, I don't think this makes sense. And 20% said I'm into it. Love to the 20%. Thank you so much for taking the poll. I'm in that 80. What is this? What is this?
I'm also in that 80. I also voted, and I was like, what is this?
Let me see. I'm trying to, yeah. Yeah. Almost
What?
almost 100 people voted in this poll. What is going on here? No. It also is like, oh, go ahead, please. I see you're about to say something.
I don't understand the trajectory. Like
Right.
they've been stalling Sodi, and then they had her get rid of like everything, like deception, her deception stock, and that good ass deal Michael put her in, and her nice
Mm-hmm.
condo or whatever penthouse that she was
She
living
can afford
in.
it.
And it's just like now she's just gonna be like, is this to make her and Cody equal? Because I'm sorry, if like this is ridiculous. They didn't do this to Chase. They didn't have him become a multimillionaire so he could be equal to Brooklyn. They
No,
had
they
them
just
have
said they weren't going
Willow.
to spend their money.
Yes, yes, they're making the woman even try to even out with the man. I'm sorry, I'm seeing a pattern. Like, so what is this? Like, so because he's a horse dude, she has to be like a cook? She can't be a multimillionaire making bank and be with him or something. This is weird to me.
But
I
they had
don't like
moved
it.
him up. So because he was also making money and now he's not.
It's weird. I don't know what they're trying. Listen, Pat, what are you doing? Unlike Tracy, I like Sophie. Cody by himself, I can do without. But I like them as a couple. I think they have chemistry. But it's like, what are they trying to do with them? It's weird.
And see, you started liking them because you didn't fast forward just because you saw Cody. Look at that. Well,
Thank you, all right.
I will also say to like even like make a bridge, the fact that Sasha used to be so famous, ooh, I can't talk, famous, that she was followed around by paparazzi to now she's about to be a horse girl who cooks is wild to me. Also wild to me that we don't know what level of fame Blaze is on. Because at first she was like very famous and now she's not. And that the paparazzi like don't follow her. Like this whole idea of like her keeping Christina and her like sexuality a secret. You were kissing her at the Metro Court. What do you mean it's a secret?
And that's a Savoy. I mean, we saw some extras that weren't the people on the show that could have very easily took a picture of her making out with or kissing her girlfriend and sending it to social media. And
Jake was happy to see her. Jake was happy. Like, wasn't Jake a Blaze fan or something?
Yes, every young man on the show.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Is a fan of Blaze because Rocco was too.
That's right.
They're all fans of hers, and she was holding hands, and she was Christina's girlfriend. It's weird.
Because what young teenage boy does not like pop music sung by Blaze?
I don't even know what kind of music she made.
She made that one song with Chase. That's what I know.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Let's talk about, before we get into hot takes, because I have a few, let's talk about Trina's future. So came out that Nicholas Chavez is not coming back as Spencer. I know on this show we have talked a lot about that probably being the case, and a couple people were like, no, you don't know. Now we're hearing it reported kind of widely from like TV Line and Entertainment Weekly. The show still hasn't made an official statement, and Nicholas Chavez has not made an official statement. Yeah, so now we need like for me, I think that there's like a big conversation to be had about Trina as a character, Trina's future, how they reset her in a way that centers her and gives her good story. Um, what do you think? Look, I'm like, what do you think? I have lots of thoughts.
Okay, so what day was it? Was that Thursday that she was on, or was that? I think it was Thursday when she took Ace. No, let's not do that.
Oh
so
yeah, when they were
all,
like, she's about to be Ace's nanny, or she's trying to be Ace's nanny.
Yes. No, thank you. Throw that away. Throw that away, Liz and Pat. Throw it away.
Immediately.
Between that, her being like, I shouldn't have made Spencer pick between me and his brother. I said, no. Throw this away. Delete. You asking to come first before your boyfriend's brother is not crazy.
No.
And to make it simplify it into like I was just jealous of Esme is ridiculous because even the most staunchest Brina Spencer supporter I saw on the timeline was like, this is ridiculous. Spencer is acting really whack and really unhinged. My favorite word for a lot of male characters on the show. Unhinged. Like, so why is she apologizing? I didn't like that. I don't like her. Like, the only thing she has right now is the gallery. As far as a life, like, I mean, she hangs out with Jocelyn and Bella to an extent, but not a lot. It's basically people saying that all she does is go to the gallery and that's it. But she's not in school. So it's become like if she does this Ace thing, it looks like she's still centering Spencer and mourning him. And I get that in terms of like that's the love of her life. That is somebody that was very special to her, and all of that. But right now, Spencer is not here. We don't know when he's coming back. With this report, if they're going to recast Spencer, they might wait a while because they just did a coming back from the dead with Jason. So they might want to space out coming back from the dead again, you know? So it might be a while. I don't need Trina in a holding pattern. I don't need her to become a nanny to the child that was whose mother terrorized her for like years, and
Years.
ultimately, and also drugged her and set her up to go to prison, and ultimately murdered the love of her life. I I need her to be doing things outside, like the stuff with the bachelorette party was great because she was mixing it in, she was having a good time, and she was having different interactions with people. We need to have more of that. We need to have her have a story outside of just mourning Spencer. It's stagnating her. That's the word. And it's slowing down her development because Trina had a life before Spencer, and we need to go back to that so she could be a fully three-dimensional character. I think the issue with Trina is the issue I have with Black Hospital as a whole. It doesn't feel like these characters are three-dimensional. You have TJ just being a ranting lunatic policing a woman's body. Curtis is just like, I'm happy with my life and I can walk. The end. Portia is the worried mother, and then sometimes she does some doctoring. Stella just pops in to say, baby, go live your life or something. I don't know where Marshall is. And Jordan just has to listen to Curtis talk about how great his life is and have ridiculous flirting sessions with Britt, and maybe have something with Drew. She's the one getting the best writing right now, and it's not even that great. So it's like I need them. Trina is like part of the problem. It's like one of the symptoms of like them not, in my opinion, writing Black characters to the fullest extent that they can or could.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I have lots of opinions about in general. I think one of the things that Trina suffers from as a character and the way they write her is that they don't know how to write. They are so concerned with how the audience will like take a Black character that they will not write fully fleshed out Black characters. And so, you know, they see like if you try to do something soapy with Jocelyn, she gets dragged. So like we can't do that to Trina when that's not true because Trina and Jocelyn are like very different characters. And the point is not, I do feel like social media really forces these writers to like think about things in a way that they shouldn't. It's okay for somebody to dislike a character at one point and then like them again at another point. That's okay, but it means that you have to like commit yourself to telling a full story for that character. I think a lot about I mean, I think it works better for male characters, but I think a lot about I don't know if you watch Grey's Anatomy, but I think a lot about the character of Alex Karev and how I hated Alex for a really, really long time. And then they started telling compelling story about him, and I was like, oh, he became one of my faves. It's okay for people to be mad at some of these characters and then let them be built back up to like somebody that people like. And they don't do that with Black Hospital. It's just like a very forced, again, one-dimensional kind of story, like very flat. Um, so that's like in general Black Hospital. And then with Trina, they once they brought Spencer on for her, they made her only about Spencer, but they didn't do enough with making her about Spencer. They didn't even tell enough story about Spencer to make it about him. Um, so Britt, I think you weren't watching, and so I understand like the frustration with some of the writing for Trina kind of pre Spencer, because Sydney was great, she exploded, everybody loved her, and they basically told this like friend to lover story for her and Cameron, and legitimately, and then like this is after she had like liked another guy that ended up wanting to date Joss too. And then with Cameron, he was like talking to Franco about how he was gonna try to get with Trina at this dance, and then at the dance him and Jocelyn kiss. So it was like very jarring to be like, what the hell is this? Like that Jocelyn has had like three like men, like young men, like kind of pursue her, and Trina has had no one. Now I think that echoes a little bit of the story that was told when we were a little bit younger about Lulu, but it doesn't have the same, like the Lulu story didn't have the same race dynamics. So you do have to
Right.
find that balance to tell a good story in that way. So I definitely understand people who like had a side eye about Jocelyn for that, and a side eye for the writers, and became really protective of Trina. And they did, and then they bring on Spencer to be with Trina, which is like a big deal because you are essentially bringing on like a popular legacy character. You are bringing him on for Trina, not the other way around. And that was like really
Right.
exciting. But they never told this love story that was like, I think worthy of Trina at the beginning, because then you have him come in and bring Esme. And when they realized the mistake of like essentially sidelining Trina in her own romance again, they brought in Rory. Now, I don't think that you had to have done anything. I don't think that people had to like Rory, but I do think that you need to tell a full story for her that wasn't about Spencer when you were telling the story with Rory. Because a lot of the bigger romances and the heroines are allowed to have these love stories that are like separate from that, to allow them to be their own characters and then to turn around and be with Spencer. It's very similar to now how like for me, especially with the idea of recasting Spencer, I want to see Trina in a really good, and also like this being a couple that the show was invested in. Obviously they're going to get back together when he comes back to life, not like Frankenstein, but like when they recast when he
Yeah.
comes back from the dead, they're gonna like, you have her in another pairing that is good, that has a lot of
Right.
chemistry that people are rooting for, and then have her like have Spencer come back and make that compelling. Like that is like how you tell compelling story. That is how you like make a character more dynamic, not to break them down to the base level to be like, oh, she's grieving, so therefore she has nothing else going on. Because we actually know that the strength of Tabiana as an actress is that people like being around her. Like the bachelorette party and stuff was like good because it was genuine. I'm looking at videos and stuff from people having these like parties this weekend. I'm very jealous that I couldn't go. Shout out to Kelly and to Rachel for sharing a lot of their videos with us. Um, Kelly is a very good time. I've met her a couple times in Atlanta. And so, like it's genuine. People like want, so to have her tell a story where she is just miserable, as opposed to like having a story where you get to see her be in relationship with people she's not normally in relationship with, like it does her a disservice to just tell a miserable story, and it does the character a disservice because they like the writers have not done a good job of like developing her outside of Sabrina anyway, especially Tabiana's Trina. So I don't want to see her be a nanny. All of that to say, in summation, I don't want to see her be a nanny. We need to figure out some stuff for her to do, especially if they're evilizing Ava. Because like
Yeah.
you want Trina not to be like smack dead in the middle of that, whatever happens. And bring back Taggart so she can have a story about family that's actually compelling.
Yes, I agree. It still bothers me how she very easily calls Curtis dad. It's like,
Ugh.
what? I hate it. So yes, please bring back Taggart.
They had her capping for Jordan. I'm like, there's no animosity about the fact that Jordan like arrested you. We just forgot that happened. I'm not saying she gotta hate her forever, but I'm saying that there should like be some remnants of these other stories that they have told for her, and there aren't.
Hmm. And she kissed Curtis. I mean, I blame Curtis. So I'm saying maybe in her eyes she'd be like, you helped cheat. You know, my mom got cheated on with you.
Exactly. Exactly. Um, well, there we go.
Mm.
Tell me, do you have any hot takes? I have a list of things.
Wow. I'm just imagining like the gif of like a list and it falling down and it's like a long list. Or
You know
like
that's JPS in that GIF.
I love that then even more.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I don't really have any hot takes except okay, um I like Tracy and Gregory.
Okay.
So much so I'm calling him Gregory instead of Jeremy. Like I like them. They have such cute chemistry. I'm not actively shipping it, but like them both being in sync with like the Chalynn wedding not being canceled, him still officiating it. I was like, that's right, you fight for your man. I was into it. Like, and then her talking to him and being like, I would have been even more stubborn than you. I would be like, we would be the same. But like, you know better. And I loved it. I think they're very cute. So it's not technically a hot take because they're like, obviously the show is pushing it, but it's like, amongst our friends is a hot take because Gregory's not popular with in the spaces and stuff that I do. But I like them a lot. Like I look forward to their scenes.
Yeah. I like them too. I think they have great rapport, great banter. I have a hard time with the story. As you know,
Mm-hmm.
I've lost somebody to ALS. And it's like I try to find the balance between telling like a good, compelling story and then also like what is the responsibility to the actual like disease and the healthcare industry that you're like really portraying, especially as a show that's like supposedly, even though we know it's not, based around a hospital. Especially from a show
Mm-hmm.
that we know has told like really good healthcare stories. Like obviously Robin's story is a cornerstone of the show, and has been told like told well. I think the Alzheimer's story was told really well. So the ALS story is just like a little frustrating to me because I'm like, okay, like this is like
Mm-hmm.
actually not the progression. Like, um, even the idea of like a home healthcare worker, and like I'm like, do you so many people, part of the problem with the disease is that people don't have access to getting a ventilator, people don't have access to healthcare workers, people would kill for that. And he is like acting stubborn around it. And I wonder how much better the story would have been if you would have told a story about handling this disease with less ego and more dignity, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yes.
so that has just been tough for me, but I do agree that they have done well with the material that they've been given.
Yes. Also, Ava's Bangs is a no for me. Happy belated
Oh,
birthday, Mora,
yeah,
but
happy
no.
belated birthday, more. Oh, I like the bangs. Okay, the bangs. Anyway.
The bang. It's not my thing. It's not my thing. Also, okay. So I loved Sonny calling Jason a deadbeat. I know what he's saying. What Jason's saying to Sonny is true, but damn, what Sonny's saying to Jason is also true. Who are you to talk to? He was like, he was like, I may have shot my son in the chest, I may have almost blown up Christina when she was hanging with Johnny Zakara. I may have, along with Ava, been like the reason why my son got blown. My other son got actually blown up. I'm the reason why my son was in a coma for a year. He got shot in the head because I was protecting Kate. But damn it, I've been there. Every time I know my kid exists, I was there. I stayed by Dante's side when I shot him in the chest. Okay? I was in that interrogation room when Christina jumped in and said, Daddy, I love you, even though you almost blew me up. You know what I'm saying? Like, my kids know me. Jake won't take your calls, and Sam told you can't see Danny. Shut your mouth about my kids.
I just imagine Jake's phone ringing and it's like Jason pops up. He just hits ignore. Poor Aiden is like, you're not gonna answer? He's like, no. I'll just go through and then I loved when Sonny and Carly were talking and Carly was like, what part is the lie? He was like, all parts. That was so belligerent. I was like, Mo, you ate that. I find it interesting that Joss seems to be hating Ava less while Christina is hating her more. And this idea that Christina is just like going to Nina about what Ava did to her family. I'm like, this just does not make sense. You like Nina took part in you believing that your father was dead. You should hate both of them. I can't take seriously the hate over Ava for Morgan when you have not only do you not have smoke for Nina, but you like Nina. You sound ridiculous.
Thank you. Tracy, I put a tweet out. I think you saw it. You see it about Nina and Ava with Christina?
Mm-hmm. No, I didn't see it.
Oh, you didn't see it? Well, I said basically what you just said. I said, so Christina has smoke for Ava for Morgan, but she doesn't have smoke for Nina, who made her think her dad was dead for all those months. And I had Nina fans be like, well, Morgan is dead and Sonny came back. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, she should have smoke for both. So you're telling me she can have this petty beef with Jocelyn, who only says stuff about Sonny. She hasn't done anything to the family, just saying something about Sonny that's disparaging. But she can't have beef with Nina, who also snatched her sister out of her mother's cooch and ran away. So she kidnapped her kid's sister, and she made you think your daddy was dead for months, but no beef. In fact, she's encouraging that you two get back together, you and Nina and Sonny get back together, because they're really happy together. As if, if we're going to go there, he's happy with Ava. If we're going to go with that logic, it's so ridiculous. So I agree.
And Nina fans were in your mentions?
They quote tweeted me, and yes, they were in my mentions. And I was just like, no, it doesn't make any sense. I don't care if Sonny loves. We're not talking about how Sonny feels about Nina. We're talking about how Christina should feel about Nina. She's a petty daddy's girl who hates it when anybody does anything to hurt, harm, or talk about badly her father. You expect me to believe that she wouldn't have smoke for Nina? That's ridiculous.
Okay. This is why I curate who I talk to about this show, because I actually don't mind. Me and Britt do not agree about, despite this podcast, we don't agree about a lot about the show, but I enjoy the disagreement. I like having fun talking about the show. I'm not trying to be bad about it. What's going on? Something I am mad about: Dex being hazed. I don't like it. I don't like it. So all these other cops don't like Dex becoming a cop because of the Sonny connection, but they do like Dante despite Dante like kicking it with Sonny for the holidays. Like, okay. Also, my daddy Dante delusion kicked into overdrive when I saw him being protective of Dex.
Oh, I know. It was very cute. The other side who think Jason is the father are also like hyper because of him protecting. Dexter's getting a super team. He's got Anna, Dante, Jason, all protecting him.
My damsel in distress Dex. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Again on the podcast, on Stephen Bradford's podcast, about something about Dex a couple weeks ago, and Steve goes, "Is that son?" No, it's not. Okay, leave,
Mm-hmm.
leave Dante's things alone. Leave Sam alone.
Mm-hmm.
Leave his son Dex alone,
That's right.
please.
Agreed.
Um, yes. Jason saying he's gonna protect Dex from Sonny. Mm, loved it. Um, this is exactly what I wrote. Christina is a loser.
Oh my. I mean, no lies told.
And she's jealous of Avery living with Sonny. Your mom keeping you away from Sonny when you were younger is not Ava's fault because she's not keeping Avery away from Sonny. So basically, Christina was like, I talking to Sam, like, I remember when things would be dangerous and my dad, I wouldn't see him. Yeah, because your daddy didn't, your
Mm-hmm.
Sonny never had the wherewithal to keep any of his children away from him because of danger. It was their mamas who always had to be like, no, Sonny, and then they would give in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My final oh no, I have two more. Uh, I love that Maxie was like Lucy was convinced she was a huge success because she was trending.
I can believe that with Lucy.
I can too. I love her.
And she was gonna she's trying to name that their new serum after herself. I love
I
it.
love it. I love Lucy's crazy ass. Okay, love her. Um, the last thing I had, so something I like about the writers doing is that they are incorporating more small talk. So
Mm-hmm.
you had like Christina, for example, sitting with Danny talking about coffee. You had like small talk between Ava or between Christina, not Christina, between Trina and Laura. Like people are just having like small talk before they're getting into the big things. And before it would just be plot point to plot point to plot point, like nothing connecting. So I do like that. I like that they're also moving people from set to set. So like you're actually getting to follow someone's day as opposed to just sticking with them in one area. Um, and I
Mm-hmm.
also like that they like have people who we don't normally see interact, and it's very intentional. I'm thinking about when Sam walked into the hatchet range, she's like, "Hi, Drew." Like,
Mm-hmm.
just like, yeah, that's your baby daddy, you know him. I really am liking those small touches, which is like why I said I think had I not been watching this show at the time of the writer's transition, I probably would be enjoying
Mm-hmm.
things more. What I'm annoyed by is like the change up of things that's like happened in our faces.
Agreed. I also like to add your small talk. I like when Drew was like, "I cannot believe you're going to be a grandmother to Jordan." Me neither,
Me neither.
Drew. I agree with you.
Yeah. So the last thing I had to say in kind of our hot take section, there was an article because y'all know I go to Soap Central just to look at the previews. I've talked about that a lot. Like in the previews, I also go there to look at the recaps. And so they did this article where they pulled up um basically the Instagram post of a former writer. And in the Instagram post, I guess there was like a meme that was like making fun of the fact that Carly's on every day. Um, And then, so that was like one thing. And then the next thing that happened was that somebody like kind of hit her in the DMs and was like, yo, people make fun of Carly or like come after Laura right all the time. And like this is a contributing to it. And so she like gave the suggestion about how there could be more solutions about like not keeping the same characters on every day. So anyway, I was like really surprised that Soap Central brought it up and like actually wrote an article about like an Instagram post from a former writer. Like that was also like really interesting. I don't want to say it's not valuable because like, you know, when you leave a job, you do an exit interview. And so like it's not when you like leave, you're like, you know, you see things up close and personal. Um, I will say as a Carly fan, I have called out when I thought that like, you know, when they had her talking to vending machines and ornaments, I was like, this is too much. Um, it is really hard for me to take critique seriously when it's just about Carly. Now, if you say Carly and Sonny are on too much, I can play ball with you. But when it just gets punted to Carly, it's really difficult for me to take that seriously. But I know, Britt, you don't care for the character of Carly. And you've like had some like you've also had like some critique around how much and like the way they tell stories. So I would love to hear what you think about this.
Um, do I think Carly's on a lot? Sure, but I also think Nina's on a lot. I also think, well, there was a time Jason was on a lot. They've actually spread him out pretty good right now. But most of all, Sonny is on a lot. Sonny is like the center of the show. Part of the reason, because this is not the first time I've heard Carly be on. I mean, this is like a thing I've heard for like over 20 years. Like when Tamara Braun was playing Carly, they said the same thing. Like she's on all the time, so on and so forth. But Carly is like she's the one that's married Sonny the most. She is the one that has his kids. Most of the time she's been on the show, she's been known as Carly Corinthos. The reason why she's the lead character is because of Sonny. A lot of it is because of Sonny. Now, also, I think Carly, despite like me not liking her, I know that she's a popular character. So it's also like popularity plus her proximity to Sonny. Because Sonny is the center of everything. There have been times he's not on. I remember he went to like, I think it's when he went to like jail or something because they thought they had like FBI or whatever when that SEC stuff was going on, when they had him arrested and he gave like Cyrus false information or something like that. I don't know if you remember this. It happened like a few months ago. But like he wasn't on the show. Like he was in a holding cell. And the whole episode, everybody was talking about Sonny. You had Nina talk about Sonny, Carly, Alexis, Olivia. Because, like, I think Nina and him were engaged. And, like, it was, like, the fiance and the baby mamas. They had, like, everybody on talking about
Yes.
Sonny. They had his kids talk about Sonny. I think they had Laura on talk about Sonny. Everybody was talking about Sonny. They had an episode where before he got married, he went to different people. Like it was like the opening. He went to Michael. He went to Anna. He went to did he go to Laura? I feel like he went to Laura. He went to like a Carly. He went to like a different assortment of people because it was all about Sonny. Like this whole thing, like the connection through this whole story, including Jason coming back, is connected to. I know he's doing this for Carly and everything like that, Jason, but it's also still connected to the Sonny breakdown story, you know? So everything is connected to Sonny. So I get kind of lost because I do look at the timeline. I know you don't, Tracy, but like when people do like it's Carly's world, but they don't mind Sonny's on all the time. To the point where I was getting frustrated because he was on for like 3 weeks straight, and I was just like, "Can I get a break?" And Carly was not on 3 weeks straight, so I was just like, "So I could get a break from her, but I can't get a break from him. Like, what's going on?" I think the only time we got that was the Bachelorette and Bachelor party, to be honest. But like, yeah, and even with that, it's not true because of with Harley, yes, but it's not true because we had the Christina Joff fight, and that was about Sonny. Jack being a cop and him getting hazed and all that stuff has to do with Sonny. Like so, like everything, like everybody's story is connected to this man. So I think it's a good conversation to have about Sonny and the people that he's connected to getting a lot of story and getting a lot of screen time, and how that can eat at the show and other people don't get a chance to shine, and there's a balance issue. But if we're going to have that conversation, I think we need to be more honest. I think for some people, it's just easier to blame Carly, just like it's easy to blame women in general for stuff on the show that I've seen from the audience. It's always the woman's fault. Sometimes, and the men they get let off the hook more easy. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that men getting let off the hook is like, I mean, it happens for sure and stuff. I think that it's just like such a overwhelming thing that happens across media, that women have to like hold this like having to go through like wild redemption arcs in order to like maybe be taken seriously, and men are just like, you got to tell one sad story and people are like, oh, he's a good man, Savannah. Like it's very it's like a very
yeah,
interesting way to like look at things. I think the other part about Carly that becomes frustrating for people is that I think that when people see her, they see what could be Liz or Sam, particularly because those are also long time women characters. And when they see Sonny, they don't see him as somebody who is eating up the screen time of the other women. I don't agree with that, but I do think that that's like easier to say. I think the other thing is that because the show is not written as well as it should in some places, it's really easy to be frustrated. So I think about even when like Jarly got together a few years ago, um, like Carly and Sam were supposed to be friends, and neither Carly nor Jason like sat down with Sam first and told her why. What like why not? You know what I mean? Like, so as a Sam fan, as I've said before, like when you like a character versus when you don't, you can kind of make all these exceptions. So I'm like, why would they write Carly to do that? You know what I mean? Not
mhm,
like I can't believe she didn't do that. Um, it it just, I think even with Nina, there was like people. I mean, I'm sure there people are fans of her, but I think that there so many people rallied around her because she was like not Carly.
mhm,
Um, but yeah, I agree. I think, like I said, there's like some things that can be taken from what people have to say. And it's some of it is valid, but I just can't take seriously a conversation that doesn't like center around that is supposed to center around balance that doesn't include Sunny, because they create whole
yeah,
realities for Sunny. They part
mhm,
of what I think is frustrating to people now is the abruptness of how people should have been feeling about Sunny in the first place, and they like have
yeah,
now laid that on Anna and Laura to kind of make their characters look silly, to like force this like change in Sunny. Because from my understanding, even Dante is going to be looking um like in the future will be looking like, oh, should I still be a cop because of my dad? So now it's like all the women are after the like man who you've made like the center.
mhm, yeah,
And so anyway, yeah, I agree. I just think that you know, I thought it was interesting. I definitely thought it was interesting to be posted in Soap Central. Um, coming from like a former writer, since like these soap sites I know talk to the current shows. So it was just like an
Mhm.
interesting. I thought it was really interesting. I said that 15 times because I'm tired. To see it posted on a site like Soap Central. Anyway, that's all I got before previews. Do you have anything that we did not talk about that you want to make sure that we hit on?
Um, just that Jordan is beautiful.
100%.
I loved her hair and her simple outfit, and that is it.
Hmm. Just like made that simple like outfit look like a runway.
Mm.
Amazing. Gorgeous. All right. Let's get into next week. Monday. Ava confides in Nicholas. Nicholas is back. Anna asks Jason to help her investigate Valentine. So, okay. You can see I didn't read these yet. Drew makes Willow an offer. Stay away from each other. Jagger confronts Jason. So we got double Jason. Nina finds herself in a tempting situation. Tuesday, Jason questions Dex. Maria Santos shares her issues with Maxie. That's not Maria Santos for her name's Natalia. Um, Sasha seeks comfort with Cody. Okay. Drew asks Nina for a favor. Valentine has a proposition for Anna. I miss Anna. Uh, Wednesday. Nina is hopeful. You know, I hate that. Um, Alexis receives a surprise visit from Natalia. TJ has growing doubts about Christina. ACAB includes TJ, the pregnancy police. Maxie develops a plan. Elizabeth is concerned about Aiden. So Sam is now sharing Hart's concern. That spoiler wording with Elizabeth. So now Elizabeth is concerned. Great. Um, Thursday, Willow questions her current career. Shout out to them having Willow be a lady who lunches and Sasha making that lunch. Um, Cody and Sasha have a heart to heart about their relationship. Gregory offers Tracy some advice. Lois helps coach Brooklyn. I really, really do love the Lois and Brooklyn chemistry. Very amazing chemistry. Friday, Sonny warns Dante about Dex. Carly has a realization about Sonny. Alexis and Sam are worried about Christina. Sam goes from concerned to worried. Great. Um, Drew pitches a business project. Joss confides in Trina. And that is our preview for next week.
Exciting.
We shall see. We shall see. Well, thank you. Make sure to like, subscribe, share the video, tell a friend to tell a friend, and we will see you next week. Britt, thank you so much for joining me, especially to talk everything, particularly Chalynn. And make
Yeah.
sure that if you are on Twitter, you hit up Britt's Thursday night spaces, which are always a good time to talk about the show. Lots of laughs, lots of disagreements, respectful disagreements, um, until I get disrespectful. And yeah, just have a great week. Bye.
Bye.